She's gonna.
I'm gonna tell Kathy to get back on.
All right, with that being said, I'd like to welcome everybody to this town board meeting. With that being said, let's rise and pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve both the minutes of the board meeting of October 8th, 24, and the tax cap public hearing, as well as the water sewer meeting from
November 7th.
November 7th.
So moved.
Moved by Rick,
Wasn't here for the seventh. I don't know.
you wanna?
Yeah.
Seconded by Emily.
Sorry, trying to talk to Kathy.
That's right. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carried. We'd like to welcome back the lead committee. Well, there's a lot of you tonight. That's good. Again, another successful round. I won't get into the total amount that's being allocated. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. So with that being said, MJ, are you kind of heading this up?
So I will just let you know that Jen is first, and Jen, you're going to present.
I know what I gotta do.
You got your self-covered here.
I'm ready. Hi, everybody.
Well,
How are you?
very good.
I will just go in alphabetical order. The first one was Adirondack Rugby Inc., which is Can-Am Rugby, which I'm sure you all know is an event that's been coming to us annually for as long as I can remember. They were looking to reinvest in a little bit in some fields and also in some equipment for their fields. Their whole ask was for almost 92,000 of a total of $125,000 grant. We thought that we would just sponsor the new equipment for the Lake Placid fields. So that's how we came to the 21,350. We just looked at their budget and did it only for the Lake Placid fields. And it is for new goalposts, new padding, flags. Apparently they haven't reinvested in that kind of thing in a very long time, and so they thought that it was time to bring it back.
Will they be storing it?
I don't know that we got the answer. I think they store it currently, so I think that it will continue to do what they have been doing.
I'm not sure we have the ability to. If we had to, we'd find something. But I'm guessing they come and do their own setups usually. so-
Well, if you're not storing it now, they didn't mention anything about asking the town or village to store it
Okay.
going forward, so.
Good, including going in fields. Thank you.
Yeah.
They might be, yeah, exactly. That was the first one. Any questions on that one?
No, it's a long-standing, successful,
It is, and it brings a lot of business both to Saranac Lake and Lake Placid,
for sure.
so. The next one was the biggest ask, the Lake Placid Association of Music and Drama and Art, or otherwise known as Lake Placid Art Center. As everybody here, I'm sure knows, they're doing a huge capital campaign right now, $33 million. That is supposed to hopefully be completed sometime in 2027. They were asking us specifically for $200,000. They want to renovate a space that used to be used for education and dance and camps and rehearsals, and now is in such disrepair, they just use it for storage. So they want to re-renovate that space. They were looking for $200,000, but we thought $100,000 based on the amount of money we had was a reasonable amount. We want to support the program, support the project, support this art center. And we thought $100,000 would go a long way towards doing that.
It's great.
Any questions on that one?
I think it's a great project, but I was just laughing because I was like, you said it goes a long way. I'm like, well, it's $33 million.
It is, but they were only asking us,
Just a question.
they were only asking us for 200,000 specifically for that. And then they did have funding to.
Because it was for
other
one very
places. It's
specific.
one very specific,
Okay.
yes, that's exactly right. They've already raised $11 million so far, and obviously they're still continuing to do that. I hope that they're successful. We'll see, maybe they'll come back to us in other rounds for other specific areas, but.
And we actually recently sponsored them for this project, so.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's worth supporting. It's a really important part of our community.
Thank you.
The next one is the Lake Placid Olympic Museum. They want to create a digital platform that has an interactive kiosk that specifically showcases our local Olympians and Paralympic athletes. We have had an athlete from this region in every single Winter Olympics in the last century, which is pretty cool. And I just learned today that the very first gold medal handed out at the very first Winter Olympics was to somebody from Lake Placid. It was to Charles Jutra.
I was gonna guess it.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, they asked for $8,000 out of a $9,000 project. We are recommending $5,000.
Great.
Okay. And my last one is the Saranac Lake 3P. That's a race that they have over in Saranac Lake. Are you guys all familiar with it? It's a pretty fun race. It's a lot of local people take part in it. They were looking for $4,000 out of a $7,500 project cost. A lot of what they were asking for was marketing and stuff. We didn't really feel like it was our mission to provide, but we did suggest $1,500 towards the purchase of the vests and the t-shirts.
How old is that event? This like a few years, is it?
Yes.
Okay,
I would say
At the
5 too.
most, but.
Mhm.
so it's a proven event.
It's a proven event, and I want to say they have, right, what did they say, they had like 150 competitors on it?
And it's
It's
growing.
been growing.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Very good.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Well, I hope you have the one I have a lot of questions from.
I'm sure.
Go.
Okay, my first presentation is on the Adirondack Tour de Ski. It is a cross-country race series utilizing 6 major cross-country ski areas in the Tri-Lakes. Each venue offers different distances and challenges, so you can pick and choose. You can participate in one, or you can participate in all of them. They use Mount Van Hovenberg, Scotts Cobble, Frenette and Tupper Lake, Dewey and Saranac Lake, Cascade Ski Touring, and Paul Smith's. Their total project cost is $40,000, and they're asking for 17, specifically for race bibs, volunteer bibs, timing, grooming, and volunteer support needs. This has been growing throughout the years, and the Leaf Committee was recommending $9,000.
So it looks like proportionate.
Yes,
Good.
Each of those places has their own grooming. I'm wondering what
there's
they have
also
to
some
pay for it.
venue rentals,
Yeah, so
especially.
I had an internal question about, so Scotts Cobble, the group, did you see it on the budget, is getting $2,000 for grooming. So
It's
that's not,
manpower, that's labor.
yeah, that was my question for you, that was discussion to be had later.
Uh-huh.
But one of I saw I'd never heard of this before, so that's.
No, it's pretty new.
So I was wondering if you had any idea what their entry fees were, like on the affordability scale, like did they talk about their entry fees?
They didn't,
But I'm assuming that must be their only revenue
that is.
with sponsorships, because they did talk something about sponsorships.
And they've reached out, they've gotten some grants, and yes, they are looking to a private sponsorship.
But you don't know anything about the entry.
No, and
fees?
NICEF actually has agreed to run the financial aspect of it until they get to be self-sustaining. So they're kind of in partnership, they are a 501c3,
Well, that was my other question, is if they are their own 501c3.
or they are applying for it, but that's why NICEF is doing it.
So I think the way I read it is that currently, like, whatever, I didn't look at I didn't compare their numbers, but I think they were using NICEF's 501c3.
Okay,
That was in the narrative, it said something about they were working.
That's correct.
Who are key people
Yeah,
in that?
cause it says like six key, it very much like says six leaders.
Probably from the,
Yeah, it says venue leaders.
Right.
well, yeah, so it would be Mount Van Hovenberg, Scotts Cobble, Burnett, Dewey, Cascade,
Okay,
and Paul Smiths.
So, like.
So Chris
from
Cheney,
Cabo,
Seymour,
Brian,
Brian Delaney, I don't know, right, so
I
they're,
mean, they weren't listed, so we have to assume.
yes.
Okay. Sorry you got that one, we had to throw that one in.
Beggars. I thought that was gonna be easy.
Actually, I think this sounds to me like it is totally local with,
No, actually, in the narrative, they did say that they have been drawn, I mean, because it's a series. And if you participate in all six of them, that's quite an honor to be able to, you know, come in first in your age division or however they manage it. So it is drawing from outside the area.
well, they're trying to. Okay.
and
I get
they're
it.
not, they're at different weekends, right?
Yes,
It's not like-
they are, they start in December and then they end in March.
Well, I hope I see some marketing about this year.
Well, why don't you participate? Participate, they have all kinds of levels.
Honestly, I would have made my children do it, but. See anything about it.
Good,
Okay, all right, the next one is the Ausable Freshwater Center, which is previously known as the Ausable River Association. They just recently had a name change. It is, their project is the West Branch Sediment Study. What's happening is sediment is aggrading at a notable rate along the West Branch. Anglers and residents and stream scientists have reported increased sedimentation in the West Branch, especially noticeable after Hurricane Irene. This is mostly noticeable along the River Road due to heavy rains producing flood events, as we all have witnessed and tried to drive through. The Ausable is experiencing reduced water quality and stream health. Banks are eroding and collapsing. So what they want to use is a LiDAR technology, which measures distances by using laser light. And they can only do this when the leaves are off the tree and there's no snow on the ground, just so that they can get the most accurate. So this project, the total project is $425,000. They've gotten a, oh my goodness. The waterfront revitalization grant gave them $325,000. And they've also gotten some other sources. What they're asking, they asked Leaf for 50 and Leaf is recommending 25, and that is just strictly to acquire the LiDAR data. So that actual program.
I'm assuming the total project cost is for mapping the entire river?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That was my
And
question.
if they don't get this funding, the only thing it'll probably, they plan on starting this in 25, fall of 25, they would need to push this back a year if they don't get the funding.
and if that happens, you'll get a report from them. that-
Yes,
Okay,
What does the report do? Is there another step in the process, like a remediation or?
well, yeah, that's the whole study is, yes, to find out where the leaks are and how they can fix it.
and who's gonna get flooded next?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pretty much everybody.
Or we're gonna dredge the entire west.
Right.
Yes.
and most of this is
We should
happening.
have right into our budget. I'll tell you.
Most of it's happening on the upside of the ski jumps and it's traveling down.
good.
The next one is the Lake Placid Volunteer Ambulance Service. They're asking to purchase a Lucas 3 chest compression system. What it is, it's an automated compression system that delivers quality mechanical CPR. It can reduce manual errors due to the fatigue of the first responder. And it increases manpower on the scene, because if you don't have an emergency service worker do it, you can use this Lucas 3 chest compression. It increases survival rates in out of hospital cardiac arrest cases. So it is definitely worth it. They asked for 20,000. Leaf is recommending 18,000.
You been around any of those units, Rick?
Yes,
Pretty amazing, I imagine.
And
Very-
then,
very consistent, very.
and I'm assuming they don't have any. They-
No,
this
no.
will be their-
The other, I don't know if it was in the grant, but the other important part is we have two-person crews. And if this has happened several times, somebody codes in the ambulance, you have to pull over.
Oh, yeah.
You need
Because
two
you have to
people for
share.
CPR,
Yeah.
so this will allow application of the unit. And then the paramedic can do their thing, the driver can drive. So.
Yeah.
It'll make a difference.
Excellent.
The last one, Saranac Lake Civic Center. As we all know, there has been a considerable amount of money spent to revitalize the Civic Center. And that was just gone, you know, through ice surfaces, refrigeration. So what they want to do is make the Civic Center a little bit more sustainable and offer indoor skating, roller skating. During the seasons when they don't have any ice, they need to purchase roller skates. And they would be for a rental. You'd go in there to rent, you know, skate for 2 hours and rent. They need to buy 300 pairs of roller skates to accommodate all the sizes. The total project cost is 31,000, but that's just not for the figure skates, but they're asking for $6,200 for roller skates.
Rick in the eighties, man.
Yep,
I'm down.
hey.
Where have
it-
we heard that before? Because roller
Cannabis, cannabis.
Cannabis, I know, that's why I was like, wait, I didn't see cannabis in their budget.
when I read.
Did it
that.
say weed money in their budget?
No, it did not.
Well, I didn't register.
Actually, with skates, they're buying.
Well, there's tons of TikTok videos on it.
Ice skates and roller skates.
So are they buying skates for, with the weed money?
Yes. It's much easier.
Yeah, you're being recorded, Jackie.
I've said on the record so many times, I don't care.
We've learned that the hard way ourselves, so join the club.
It's okay, wouldn't be
Yeah.
my first time.
But we have the wrong address, so there's nobody on there.
A good move. Well-oiled machine.
Yeah, Fred sitting behind
So-
you.
Yeah, public ice skating has been very successful, so they feel that, you know, roller skates will be just as successful.
For sure.
Right.
No, I think it's a great program. I just really wanted to see if we were in their budget and I don't see it, but I'm assuming that we've given them the
We
money.
did,
Okay.
$5,000.
Okay,
Do they have
So
a,
it's either up to 11.
Oh, yeah, really, whoa.
Yeah.
do you have an ETA, like,
They were hoping this spring or when the ice comes off.
okay. that's good.
They're really becoming a 12-month
Yes,
facility there.
Well, that's the
what's
goal,
great.
right?
Yeah, good.
okay, I'm done.
You can find. You're saying finally, but. you-
I know,
an hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nervous hour and a half.
Hold on, build up.
All right, we'll start with the Lake Placid North Alva Historical Society, the train depot, as everyone knows, the rail trail. It brings, or there's gonna be continuing to bring more people into that train depot in that area, and so they're proposing some beautification and signage and renovations of the outdoor space on that train depot. The full project cost is $20,000. Think back to the, maybe you guys already know more about it, and gals, I think the cannabis money.
you can say we might.
The grant, there's a 5,000 grant already given for that project, so they're asking
We did?
15.
No, they just.
I don't know if,
They
yeah.
did, yeah, they haven't been funded. They
Oh,
just-
okay.
They
They asked, okay, so that was in their thing, so it's part of their sources, anyways, 15 grand. Is what they're requesting, and we recommended 15 grand, we thought that was a pretty important intersection of coming into the area, so.
It's gonna be a busy corner. Yeah.
Make good sense.
And we did not deny them. We simply asked for some more information. Which we're waiting for.
Good.
Doesn't really go with policy.
Jason has a different opinion. Keep
Well,
going.
right, you read the policy, it's pretty clear.
NICEF, requested, there's actually two projects that were requesting, 64K. Or sorry, 40K. We suggest 20. About 20K, they, mainly for, I'm speaking way beyond what I understand here, but the biathlon rifle and targets, which would be, accessible, they're with the, youth commission, making them accessible, like, the local community for the youngsters to, learn more about the sport and get, interested into it. So we recommended 20K for that. Any questions on?
So when I looked through that, there was also a request for some transportation stuff, so you did.
We did
decide
not,
not
we,
fund it.
if you're, I don't know if it was a year or last year, we funded some of, for like the van.
For the
they
van.
use And stuff like that, and it's the same kind of thing
Yes.
here, and we thought the rifles made more sense, and we try not, the reoccurring, we try not to do that.
Sounds like a great promotion. Yeah,
Arming our youth.
I've actually, because they brought them, I think they already have a couple, and they brought them to the Scotts Cobble ski, like the youth ski country cross country ski program. And they let the kids use them, and the kids were loving it. I
Oh,
mean,
that's
they're
cool.
getting to shoot a gun, I mean. It's
And like, how old, let's, I'm just thinking of my son, he's only first, how old would that be?
Kindergarten.
What?
Yeah, like that ski program, they were in kindergarten.
he's already behind the time.
Well, in light of what's happening, right, I better get him on it.
He can't take the gun home.
It was a very safe situation.
The next one's a search and rescue of the Northern Adirondacks. They have. The total project cost is $7,700. They're requesting $6,700. They have radios. It almost kind of sounds comical how outdated they are. And they need to be able to communicate with each other. They've actually bought 2 of these new radios to test them. They test them, it works really well. They have more of the technical detail in the application, but we thought the full funding of having these radios would be important for helping them service the community.
Again, lucky we have the volunteers
You're right.
to step up and be willing to help. I'm sure they are like auxiliary to the rangers and stuff. They don't get called all the time, but they do their share of work. No, sounds good.
Village of Saranac Lake, Mount Pisgah, we had, again, I forget the timeline, but we had awarded them a pretty large sum in the past. I think it was last year. They were requesting 42K. We recommended 7,500. It's for the which is it is pretty needed. The safety features around the terrain on like signage and pad. Ours was specifically the padding on the poles to prevent any major injuries, which we thought was is needed. And some of the other stuff is needed as well, but we recommended 7,500 for that.
Good. And again, Pisgah services both communities, so it fits our mission. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reactions, more comments.
I had an MJ question that I think she might know, under the ones you didn't fund, you there's no, I'm not gonna say which one, cause I'll feel bad. But it says town has agreed to assist organization, I'm assuming that's not the town of North Elba.
Correct.
Okay, that's all, I just wanted to make sure I didn't agree to something that.
No, as always, you guys do a great job, so it's interesting reading. I
Thank
mean,
you.
How many rounds have we been through? Is this like our 5th or 6th?
I think this is our 6th.
Okay,
So first one was in the summer 2020.
and moving forward, I think either as a whole group we should discuss if we're gonna do this once a year or twice a year. And I guess the only reason I'm bringing it up tonight is because as we move down the road, we have taken care of so many not-for-profits. Certainly, we're not saturated yet, but I see that, you know, we're already seeing recurring applications. And I'm thinking once a year may be adequate for us to go through this process and give more people more time. And I know that puts more applications in front of this board of yours. But in my mind, once a year serves the purpose adequately.
So I think that at this point, we are not really seeing a decrease in the applications we're getting. And I think that all the applications that come to the table that we recommend to the board serve the communities and also serve the tourism industry that has, you know, such a big impact on our region. So my recommendation would be pause till we make that decision until we really see, like, we keep getting the same thing over and over again. And we talked about this at our last committee meeting. We need to do a better job promoting that this is out there. I mean, you had never even heard of it, right? And so, I mean, that's just one local community member, but I would like to first see if we could get more engagement before we reduce the program. And even if it has to be smaller gives twice a year, which I think we've done a good job managing that. Just don't quite think we're there yet. I think part of the problem is just not enough people know about it.
Right,
So that's my thought.
yep,
I just had a second, if you don't mind me, my thought process also is that some of them are a little more like time sensitive. And so having it the twice a year, even if it's a smaller amount or whatever, would make sense on when these things, some of these things, you know, pop up.
and does twice a year? It's accepted by you folks on the Leaf Committee, I mean,
I prefer it
oh,
personally.
okay,
It's just because it's, you know, going through all these applications, you wanna go through them thoroughly and have time to do it. And, I'm just trying to think, if we had to do all of them in one round, it would be really,
Then it's
because it takes, you don't just like sit down and go through all of them in one day, you know, I
Right.
mean, you do it over the course of days and weeks, cause there's a
Sure.
lot, you wanna give them all the due that they deserve, you know, and then be prepared and ready to discuss them and,
How many do you feel that get sent back, or at least say, hey, can you send more information? Like a percentage of.
Probably say there's at least, you know, well, first of all, Kristen, who's the grant coordinator, is really good at handling a lot before it even gets to the committee.
Amen.
So, you know.
She does a
thank God.
great job, and she's getting better at it every.
Yeah, that's also,
round.
it's been improved, the process has
Yeah.
improved a
So,
lot.
you know, she would be a better.
She
person.
would be a better one to understand, you know, what, you know, she's continually requesting. And a lot of times, and this is a conversation that the committee has as well, some of these organizations, that's not in their toolkit to write out grant applications, so they're new at it, and, you know, so you have to, you know, you wanna help them, it's not a punitive process, we wanna help these, you know, smaller organizations get the money that they need, and as we know, some of them are really important. Volunteer ambulance service, you know, the rescue, High Peaks, et cetera, and those are
so
all-
then in this current year. It's your opinion that we stick to February 1 and September 1.
That's our recommendation at this
Any further comments on that? Naturally, huge thanks, cause you guys are an impressive committee,
time. Thank you.
yep. And I don't want you to feel like you gotta sit through the rest of this meeting, cause.
Well, we'd love to, but.
You're missing out.
Many thanks, another great job.
Thank you.
That's a lot of the crowd.
My name is Olivia Dwyer.
All right, let's move on to old business. This might take a couple minutes of discussion. I think there'll probably be a couple questions with columbarium pricing and our use agreement. Not really sure how to start this. Rick, maybe you can jog my memory on how we came up with the original pricing suggestion. Was it based on other areas?
Yes,
That's what I recall.
right. Columbariums, the St. Agnes has 2 units in their cemetery and they use the same pricing structure.
Okay,
And as you recall, we did not purchase the columbarium. But we are splitting 50-50 with the owner of the columbarium, which is Plattsburgh Memorial.
right. Go ahead.
I was just saying, my only question was, have our legal counsel reviewed this?
No, they have not.
So.
What's that?
We'd have to ask Adrian. I believe they did review the agreement that she put out. That's in the packet.
And is there an offer for resident and non-resident difference? I didn't notice
see
that.
Either.
I don't have it open, hold on. I don't think I know about it.
It's
Oh,
not.
you have it right here. Yeah, it's 1800.
Right.
So is that something we should consider? You know, which follows kind of the lay of the land with,
Right, right, with the
sites.
burials,
Yeah.
right, plots. Absolutely.
What's the price difference, Lori, on plots?
$400 for locals, $800 for them.
And we suggested 500.
Oh, yes,
900.
in the budget.
Right.
Makes sense.
so then. Before we send this for legal,
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
you and I will get together.
Yeah, and I'd like to get the brochures, both brochures.
You're suggesting $500 for a plot and $900?
Yes. That was the discussion, I believe,
Budget.
Jason.
It seems.
Maybe I missed it in here, but when we talked to Plattsburgh Memorial. When a person purchases, the head plate goes to them and they do the engraving.
Correct,
Okay, so the engraving is consistent,
correct.
okay,
It's part of the price, right? The only thing that is not unlike a plot, the container or the urn
oh, that's right,
Oh, and the opening, which is, I mean,
in the opening.
which obviously the opening is much easier than the opening of a plot, so it's a smaller. fee.
which means we can provide service in the winter months,
Correct, these will be year round.
okay. Uh,
But can we provide service in the winter months? Because, I mean, yes, you could put someone's ashes in there, but could they really have a service? Cause like nothing's plowed.
They're going.
Just to that location.
Correct.
I actually saw them, I saw one of them, right? Cause there's still.
There's just
one. Either way. So it'll be plowed to that location so you can do a winter
You could
service.
do winter.
And then-
Okay.
Lori had a question about flowers or remembrance type things.
Mhm,
We poured the slabs bigger
correct,
in anticipation of a couple chairs or a bench.
benches, yeah,
But the ability to leave things there
Right.
is
Is not.
a no go,
right,
okay.
And
That's the way I
that's pretty
remember,
standard,
okay,
And it would, I mean, it would just be, I think we talked also about having flowers and like
Right,
perennials and like, you know,
Exactly.
the actual, so it's a nice place to
It's
visit,
just
so you
not-
feel like you don't need to bring your own things
right,
to
a
it.
barren waste.
Yeah.
But we won't get super upset if like, whatever, I don't
After
see this outpouring of people like
Oh, well,
leave
if-
flowers there, then we can just pick them
After,
up.
after the service or something.
Yeah.
That would take
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
I just mean long term,
Sure,
Right.
yeah,
like, no, if someone puts it down and comes back like a day later, like, hey, where did it go? It's not a
Yeah.
situation.
It happens to the graves,
Parasites, yeah.
and they're not taken away until the season's over.
Yeah, so that's. that'll be
So
worth
they,
it.
twice a year it's removed,
But there'll be different.
that's
fish
why I
with the
wondered.
columbarium.
I think it'll probably be quicker at the columbarium.
So
Because
should
it's very
we,
it's like a common space.
should we follow through and then bring this back in the December?
Yes. And that'll be important to make sure that it's complete, because if we want to do winter,
Yeah,
this winter.
right.
Thank you for that reminder about pricing, Lori.
Okay, let's move on to new business. All we have to do is finalize that one application for the Lake Placid School Pollinator Program. All our questions were answered, right?
Yeah.
So this is really just a formality. So I take a motion to accept that funding for the school pollinator.
Smooth.
So moved by Jason,
A second.
seconded by Emily. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye, carried. Thank you. We have to formalize a review board candidate that we discussed at least a month ago. And this is, again, just a formality for our records. And it is for Juan Reiser to complete the term on the review board, which would expire the end of 2028. We've all seen resume, we've all okayed it. I'll take a motion to accept.
So
Moved by Emily, seconded by Jason. Any further comments? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Thank you. We have a final contract that's been accepted on the food pantry between the town and the food pantry board, of which Rick is the representative from our town on that board. Do you want to speak on the contract behalf at all? I mean,
It's pretty,
it was a very mutual.
Yeah.
Nothing out of line, I think, just in recognizing that the town is excited about being a good partner with the food pantry. We've accepted responsibilities of the exterior and parking lot maintenance and the such. We're taking care of outside, they're taking care of inside. I think that's about the easiest synopsis to explain.
we had our meeting this morning and there's some concern regarding the walkway, so to speak, between Mackenzie and the food pantry.
but there is one, or does it need to be? done?
There is one, but from the Mackenzie overlook to the trailhead, so to speak, is not much of a trail. And there's discussion on
And that's on
liability,
that's on the Mackenzie
Correct.
property.
right?
What I have, what I'm willing to do is certainly go talk to their manager and see how they plan to maintain that this winter, whether it's just with sand. Because we're prepared to at least keep that road open.
Plow it, save
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah,
Do we know if it was maintained last winter?
no, because it was all rocks. It was,
Because it was before they did anything with the wall.
They were coming down through the trees.
Yeah,
yeah. And maybe we'll need to adjust that over time. But I'll make a note to go see, what's his name again?
Bruce.
Bruce. But I did talk to Gabe and Larry, who were appreciative that we did open up at least an access. All right, so with that being said, I accept a motion to accept that lease.
So moved.
Rick, seconded. Jason, further comment? All in favor? Aye. Carried. Thank you. We had a public hearing on our tentative town budget. Which was the 7th. We're in a position to accept that budget tonight. Kathy, is there anything last minute you'd like to talk about the budget as we get ready to accept this?
I can't think of anything. Nobody contacted me with any requests for changes.
No? Me either, I just didn't know if you, we basically covered everything at the public hearing. Are the rest of the board members in a position of ready to accept?
Yeah.
All right, I'll accept the motion.
So
Moved by Jason, second
I'll second.
by Emily. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carries, thank you. The next item, we have talked about a proposed increase to the T hanger fee. I'd just like to go over what we had talked about. You know, we're currently at $3,000 a year, which is $250 a month. We recognize that all other similar airports certainly get more. And what we had proposed is going from $250 to $325. That is actually a 30% increase. I just don't know if that much is warranted. I know it's appropriate with today's market. I guess I'd just like a little bit more discussion. In comparison, if we went from $250 to $300 a month, that's a 20% increase, which would raise it from $3,000 a year to $3,600. Or go with the 30%, which boosts it to $3,900 a year. With that being said, is
There been any more talk about a profit? Remember, there's a profit sharing venture with the group, airport group. They wanted to take over the T hangars.
yes,
But they didn't want to share any profit.
Correct.
right,
Well, I
Share
guess
among
we were
themselves.
sharing,
Yeah, who was sharing?
we're giving them the buildings, but we
yeah,
agreed upon a couple of units, I believe. Was
Well,
that prior to Russ's passing.
yeah, and
Okay.
we had talked about the possibility of doing it. What it would mean up front, the first thing we'd have to do is amend our lease, which allows for basically subleasing. I still have the concern of interrupting that local guy
Mhm.
that can come in and afford.
Because they would charge more than $325.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to like helping their effort with. Say 2 or 3 hangars, but I don't believe we're there yet.
No, no,
We are still in the process of negotiating with them on fuel dispensing systems and the such, so we have enough issues on the table right now. At least in my opinion, to not move forward with that concept yet.
but the justification for increasing other than property values and T hanger values. Are we providing the same level of service down there that we have in the past and?
And actually, the answer is no.
Right.
I mean, there is discussion with the lessors that they would like an automatic dispensing system, so they don't have to pump gas for our hangar tenants. So I don't wanna say it's a bone of contention, but I need further discussion with them to really justify going to $325 a
I
month.
was going to say, I'd be somewhat supportive of 300, a lower increase just based on, you know, inflation, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
I'm okay with the 325. But, man, I don't know, like I felt like we had a consensus of 325, but has there been something
Well,
happening like since
No,
the last conversation?
we had like an unofficial acceptance of $325.
Yeah.
I just started punching percentages and I thought in a 1 year time to bump somebody 30%.
But we haven't, from what I understand, the price hasn't increased for what?
A dozen years.
12 years.
Yeah, so I felt like,
And I would ask, not that it's a huge amount of money to our budget, but what I think what's in the budget is $325 a month.
Is that plugged in, Kath?
Yeah, but it,
325 is what you guys just approved as a revenue line.
yeah,
Well, then
Then,
325 it is.
yeah, I think that answers that question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have such a small,
if we could have caught this maybe 3 years ago, and then could have slowly climbed it up over the last 3 years.
yeah. So I guess I'll take a motion at $325,
I'll move for 325.
seconded by Jason. Anything else to say?
No, I guess if there are complaints, there hasn't been an increase in 12 years, and I don't know what there hasn't been an increase in 12 years.
Right.
Let alone the last couple of years.
Very good. All in favor? Aye. No one opposed, carried. Thank you. Now I'm negligent here. I did not get from Deb those new tax exemptions that we went over in work session. We're not in a position to move on those yet. So I guess, apologetically, I will move that item to December's agenda.
Which is well in range of time to act on it.
Oh,
There wasn't seeming to be anything.
Which is March,
Right.
yeah. Next item. Transfer station. Rick, I think I'm gonna turn it over to you. You've worked with Shannon right from the start on this. Go ahead.
In your packet, there was the brush agreement. And the whole idea behind that is the increased price in chipping up the brush. They're seeing an increase of longer and larger pieces coming in, mostly from contractors, landscapers. So Shannon wanted to add a price structure that addressed the larger diameter and length logs that come in. So those are the proposed, you've got those proposed. The other piece is a proposal for the addition of discounts for average on large trash deposits. We have at least one company that's interested in using our transfer station for what is said to be around 2,000 tons a year of trash. They don't currently use our transfer station. I have a new sheet here, if anybody wants it. Right now, our tipping fees are $185 a ton. The discounts would be after an average of 20 tons per week, receiving a 10% discount. And after 40 tons average per week, 15% discount. Even we did some numbers, and with our profit margin and with the new business, we're looking at about $136,000 in increased revenue. And anybody who follows our budget, you know that we passed a resolution to exceed the tax cap this year. And that was a hard pill to swallow. So as a town, we need to both increase revenues some way, shape, or form, and decrease expenses. Otherwise, we're going down slippery slope with the tax cap. So we looked at this, and Shannon offered up, this new revenue stream, and $136,000 in new revenues is nothing to
So Rick,
pass up.
Rick, would it be okay if I would say, if I revise your statement to say strategically generate revenues, increase revenues?
Oh, absolutely.
So they're not on the backs of the taxpayer. We can kind of maximize.
Not at all.
Right, and there was concern out there, I'll throw it out there, that we're giving a rate break to the big guy and the little guy, the startup organizations.
Hmm.
So the other alternative is, do we increase the tipping fees, to 190 or 195? And I was adamantly opposed to that, just because of now you are hurting the guy.
Right.
Now you're hurting everybody, you're putting the burden on all the taxpayers, so. I'd rather come at it from this angle, so.
I have a question.
Sure.
Rick, when you mentioned the rates, you said per week, but did you mean per month?
No, per
No.
week, The original document was volume based by the month, and that was my error. It's actually per week. They will be, in this document, it says that they'll be invoiced monthly, but it's based upon weekly tonnage.
So would it be if they brought in 30 tons, 1 week they'd get 18%, the next week we'd have to calculate that they had 40 tons and give them 20%?
Correct, and I believe, and Shannon is willing to do that, do the math.
Can't do that, we do the billing here.
She will send the invoice up.
Oh, I see, so this would not be run through our program for the scales?
Just
That,
on a weight ticket.
just on a weight ticket, and then the invoice will reflect the reduction.
Okay, I'll talk to Shannon.
Okay,
I'd call it a windfall. I mean,
If you attract the new business, which
Correct.
we assume.
if we don't lose anything.
right. Yep. No, good job, Rick. Should I do this, accept it in the form of a motion? For the pricing? It'd probably be good to have a,
Yeah, I think it's a good word, actually.
Sure. I think you want to do the brushing and the tipping together.
yes.
Okay.
I'll accept a motion to accept these rates.
Move.
Moved by Jason, second. Emily, any further
It's
discussion?
that, with Dick here, it usually gets all.
Fine.
Yeah, I missed that one.
No further discussion, all in favor? Aye. So that's carried. Thank you. We're at committee reports. Do you wanna talk at all about sidewalk, or are we gonna wait till December?
Yeah, well,
With Swazo?
the only thing I was gonna say is that you did somewhere in an email or receive the feasibility study, so it's complete now, which is exciting, but now we have to talk about the next steps, so we're gonna talk about them with Swazo first.
Yeah,
And then we'll come back and talk to the public and the board about the next steps.
okay.
I'm going to the childcare committee, there's the conference on
Thursday?
Thursday, yes, I'll be attending,
Oh,
Good.
you are?
yes,
Oh, thank you.
yes.
We got that news through the superintendent.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Apparently levied a little time for you.
Yeah, no, oh, yeah. So I'll be able to attend,
You'll be,
I won't be able to drive, I'm driving myself. but-
Yeah.
And back, but
you'll be impressed. It's a good group.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And you're giving Emily a
Yeah,
break.
Tesla.
Nice.
Yeah.
Go charge it up.
Rick, you got anything in your corner to report?
No,
You know, we've kind of been busy off and on down at Showgrounds, getting ready for the report on the park district plan. But we're premature in putting anything out yet. So I guess that's that. Kathy, do you wanna talk about budget adjustments?
Sure, if you want me to, I emailed them all to you on Friday.
Yep,
Kathy, the one that I guess I've never noticed it before, but maybe it happens every year, is the overage for personal services for cemetery.
No, that does not happen every year. This was a anomaly this year. I have not had a chance to ask Kenny why that happened, because usually they're really good about keeping track of the seasonal and how
Yeah,
much.
you expect that in some places, but not in cemetery.
But
Well-
you know, I mean, he has never gone over budget for cemetery for personal services in the past that I can recall.
I can
I'm
tell you.
guessing that it's just that there's that much more work going on with the issues he's had with the trees and whatnot and the extra. Wasn't there some extra work that they asked to be done out at in the Saranac Lake area for that cemetery?
Would that go under?
Probably paid for it.
that was,
I don't know. The answer is
We didn't anticipate surveying. We had to identify the back boundary before
That's
we.
not personal services.
Probably.
I-
Unless we have to go to
only if
some-
he sends the guys over there to do work.
It was both, it was overtime and personal
Yeah.
services.
But the season's over. That individual that gets the seasonal is off the books now, so it's not gonna happen again this year.
Right,
But I mean, it's payroll and he did the work and he needs to be paid for it, so.
Yeah. I didn't wanna not pay him, just.
yeah,
wanted to
Yeah.
know what the reason-
I apologize. I meant to ask Kenny and it slipped my mind and I haven't had, and I can get you an answer, but I don't know at this point if it really makes that much of a
I
difference.
want to ask Kenny.
yeah, and I'll touch base with them. All right, what else you got, Kath?
I mean, it's,
Question?
the
None.
biggest thing is that all the adjustments that I'm asking for, which are all listed out there, none of them are coming from fund balance. Luckily enough, the error that I made in estimating the retirement for this year, we can cover with excess appropriations from other areas or excess revenue.
Good,
And, you know, and I really don't have any, the only thing that's coming out of fund balance is the sewer study work that Swazzle's group is doing for us, which we've all discussed every month, so
right,
I don't have anything, unless you have a specific question on the numbers, I don't have anything to point
no,
out.
I'm fine. All right, thank you, Kath.
You're welcome.
How about audits? Have we all signed on
Yes.
those?
I still have to say, but-
All right, I'll take a motion
I know
to
I
accept
forget, I was-
audits.
What's the motion for the budget adjustments?
Oh, a motion to accept budget adjustments. Jason and Rick. No further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Carried. There were no personnel actions. I'll take a motion to accept audits. Rick and Jason? Anything?
No.
All right, all in favor? Aye, carried. Anybody got anything to say? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hi, my name is Olivia Dwyer, just wanted to say hello really fast. I sit on the town board in Jay, just started a term this year, so came tonight to listen and learn. And Mr. Doty, I know you see our supervisor, Matt Stanley, regularly at the county, but
All the time.
yeah, just wanted to offer myself as a resource and sounding board to any of you. My contact info is on the town website. So, hello?
You might not want to do that.
Yeah. More likely I'll call you. Great to know.
This is one of our more tame meetings.
Well, and listen, this.
Fred keeps us under control.
Welcome back, Fred.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's been a while.
You
I thought I'd give you a break.
grateful that it's this hour and we're almost done because
I'm
there
impressed.
are meetings, they'd like to kill me. So certainly you're welcome here anytime, and I guess I owe you a reciprocal, I'll come down sometime.
No obligation. I know you all are busy.
No, thank you for coming up though.
Absolutely.
We're a busy town, just like you guys are,
Absolutely.
yeah, we share a lot of the same problems.
That's why I came, see how you all approach them and what we can
Yeah,
share knowledge.
But you can see by our occupancy tax money in the leaf committee that you heard tonight. We wouldn't have the time to go through what they do for us. And of course, yes, we're the elephant in the room with a major portion of occupancy tax. But it is a very successful program. We have touched virtually so many not-for-profits and deserving entities that it remains one of the highlights of Jim McKenna's idea for the added like tax.
I'm happy to add too, so initially, I was on the village board prior and then here, it was very tourist focused, which is, but over the last several years, it's been community based that indirectly or directly impacts tourism, so it's been a welcome change.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how you balance those things as we all do in our communities. And it was a great opportunity to learn more about North Elba, listening to the projects that you've all decided to come to.
You'd have to stay here 2 weeks to figure it all out. Yeah, anyway, thanks for coming.
Yes,
Thank you.
Fred, what do you got, buddy?
Well, since you're asking. First of all, today I was at the Adirondack Diversity Initiative Symposium. In fact, Olivia was there as well, and it was a really worthwhile program. I don't know if any of you have had much contact with ADI, but
Can you give just like a quick 30-second?
real quick, let's see, there were panels on, I went to one on the right to exist, which included a transgender person, transgender woman, two gay men and a black woman who considered herself, I think, I think she referred to herself as pansexual at one point. That was interesting. There was also a discussion between David Summerstein and there's a new reporter on NCPR who's devoted to diversity, David Escobar. That was, so they talked a little bit about his role. And he's been doing reports like he did a report on Jamaican farm workers at Walsh a while ago. That was really interesting. So he's focusing on, he's got like his own beat. He also works for the Explorer. And then it kind of wrapped up with a keynote on diversity in nature. And it was a really dynamic presentation by two people from Long Island, a black woman and a white guy. He's a school teacher. And they're talking about trying to promote the concept of diversity by bringing people into nature, and of course the Adirondacks being a great place. So it was really worthwhile. So I would highly recommend.
Where was this?
This was at Paul Smith's VI Vic, and Tiffany Ray Fisher is the director, and she's really good, really dynamic. So anyway, there's that. But I would like to bring up since it's very new in the news, we're gonna have an open. It looks like we're gonna have an open seat in Congress.
Yeah.
You running?
And so you're here to ask for our endorsement? Oh,
You have it.
too early.
I haven't pulled it out. I haven't
Not
pulled
for
it out.
me, Fred, not for me. You have it.
Well, there's some good candidates right here. What I wanted to say is that, you know, I think what I understand is as soon as, assuming Elise Stefanik is gonna be approved as the UN ambassador or delegate, whatever that is, which I assume she will be. I think it's something like 80 days. There has to be a special election within 80 days.
Within 90.
90, okay.
Yep.
So you know.
Supposed to be sometime April-ish.
Yeah, so anyway, I would prefer, I mean, if it's gonna come down to the county committee chairs of the two parties getting together and picking, you know, two candidates for the two major parties, I think that's would be something of a disservice to constituents. I would like to see some kind of open process, which could include things like Zoom meetings, some town halls maybe. I think the two major parties should put out kind of almost like a job hiring thing and ask for anybody interested to step up. And I think there should be some kind of evaluation process that would include the public. We'd love to see the town board endorse something like that, but that's obviously.
I think a lot of it will depend on the direction the state gives the county chairs on the latitude and the timing. It's not that we all won't wanna put in our opinions. I think it's yet to be determined.
Okay,
This hasn't happened in all the years I've been involved.
well, you did have President Obama did name John McHugh Army Secretary, if you recall it.
I was part of the Essex County Democratic Committee. I remember going down to Blue Mountain Lake or somewhere around there, and that's where. Out of Plattsburgh, I forgot his name. It was
Bill
for
Owens.
Democrat.
Bill Owens.
Bill Owens, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the ECDC at that time.
Yeah,
too.
I was just, it's. I'm with you, but I think it might have helped. Possibly if it was more open, competitive.
I'm just saying, and then of course, when I guess when Bill Owens announced he was stepping down, that was like January of the same year. There wasn't really a lot of time for the Democrats to name somebody, and they came up with Aaron Wolf that year. But anyway, I think in the era of Zoom, certainly the county committees could do it, and I think even some live town halls would be great. I think it would be great for the district. So
I'm sure we'll be kept in the loop.
well,
Yep.
I think as much as the public can be involved, I think would be good.
I think it might. Have you talked to, blanking on her name? The chair for the Essex.
Maggie, I
Maggie.
haven't.
Maybe that's another avenue too,
Yeah.
to make sure that, you know, you bring it, that the Democrats kind of.
I'm not only on that committee, I think I'm still on the committee. I didn't circulate a petition this past year, but I'll certainly bring it up to folks. Actually, Billy Jones was there today too, in fact, so I kind of popped that idea to him. I don't know how receptive he was, because he might be running, I don't know.
That would be
Right.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Good.
anyway, thank you.
Just endorse Fred if you didn't remember.
Well, you see, I don't,
Just-
I prefer Fred, however,
I'll
if he is too shy and he's not in the
Give him a
place.
definitive yes there.
He's a non-traditional student, if he's not where he needs to be in his studies, then Billy Owens can work.
6 minutes, you flipped.
I'm here to support.
Billy Jones, I think
23
Billy
injured.
Jones would look a strong candidate and
Matt
he would,
Costello.
he wouldn't have to give up his assembly seat in the special election, so.
You wouldn't have to?
No, unless he
Not unless he
wins,
win.
unless he wins.
That's if you are saying no right now.
One small thing, I don't know if you have the number in front of you, but way at the beginning, talking about the pollinator, the funding for the pollinator
Yeah.
garden, do you have the amount of the, for the funding?
That's a $5,000 grant, isn't it?
Okay.
5,000.
I know it's been mentioned, but, and then for the budget, judging by the lack of discussion, do I take it that there weren't any like major changes
None.
between this, okay?
And did we gave you a copy of that at the,
Yeah, I might like ask for an official like, final copy, just so I can have
sure,
the confidence that I'm looking at the right thing, but
do you have Kathy's number?
yeah, yep, we've been.
She'll send anything you need,
Sounds great, thank you.
good deal. Anything else? With that being said, I take a motion to adjourn.
No executive session?
No.
I felt it's way too early.
I know, like,
Yeah, so moved.
second.
Second by Jason, all in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
The